tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview, the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, LA Style, and Detour magazines, Joan covered the social set, the Hollywood hotshots, the international art scene, the mysteries of food, the excitement of travel, and the fabulous world of fashion. Joan continues to find creative people on the cutting edge who make things happen. Here's Joan Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Waiting to be profiled is artist Patrick Graham and actor Jaime Emmerich. Artist Patrick Graham was born in Ireland, where he currently lives and works. Patrick has exhibited in proper galleries and museums from Fresno, California to Baghdad, Iraq, but also in places like the Bank of Ireland and the Guinness Hop Shop. I really love that idea that he is out with the people, because some people are intimidated and hate to go into museums. Patrick's won a lot of awards, and he's a whiz at giving seminars. What kind of seminars do you give?
They're usually discussions, Joan, where an audience are invited to participate, mostly question-answer type seminars. I don't like a kind of dry, arid
Is it on your work?
Oh, yeah.
So you'll have a piece of work?
I allow people to ask whatever question they want, whether it's about my grandmother or art or whatever, it doesn't matter. Because I like that kind of openness about discussion. And it can lead to anything. People ask the most intimate questions.
Do they?
Absolutely.
Do you answer them?
I do, if they're not too dangerous, I answer them.
I'm not going to get into that today. I'm going to be really professional and ask you about your museum shows.
Well, I've had lots of them. From high museums to very public galleries and public places. Because I like, as I say, this access people have to shows. And I like people to kind of get over the idea that art is a very exclusive and shown only in museums.
That's what's so hard.
It can be available,
Yeah, that's the very difficult part.
I like people to see it, obviously. And it can remain in a very tight academic kind of circle if it remains in museums. So I like the discussion it creates in people who are not, say, that familiar with art, but can go in and feel at home and not threatened, actually.
Would you express yourself in writing?
Oh, I would, yeah.
At all, do you?
Yeah, a lot, yeah. Because, again, I'm part of that great Irish tradition of writing and poetry. And I've introduced it a lot into painting and drawing. People have questioned it at odd times, but I love it.
Because I see words in your work.
Yeah.
And is that telling the story of the piece, or is it telling your own story?
It's not necessarily the story. It's part of the process of thinking. I love the way we think through art and the way it works like that. And I love all the words that go on as I'm thinking and drawing. The way you kind of slip into a kind of unconscious presence at a drawing and you're thinking all that. And I love all that process and leaving it there,
That's interesting. What I was going to ask you about was the method, because these are collages, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So tell me how you work. And you kind of gave us an insight into, as you're working, you're putting words down.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit, tell us the name of this, and we'll talk about this as a process piece.
Well, this is a piece from a series called the Blackbird Suite. The Blackbird Suite is a very intimate kind of notion of a girl, very beautiful girl, very black hair, very Irish. So it's about that whole sensual thing of a relationship of birds and symbols to people. And it's easier in a sense to speak through symbols than it is through direct drawing or direct reference to a person. So Ireland is very famous for using symbols and birds and
I see.
to speak about itself in poetry. For years, Ireland was known as the blackbird itself, also the yellow bitron, because it was a way of talking politically about a country rather than talking directly to, say, the British Empire.
They talked about
themselves. So they referred to themselves as birds, as the wild geese say, when they went to fight. So it's a tradition I picked up and continued on and used it as reference, and you get all these double meanings of is she, isn't she, is it not? All
And
that
it's
kind of
also
thing.
part of that mystical journey
Absolutely,
that you
yeah.
were talking about
Yeah,
that has to
yeah.
tie in poetry, writing,
yeah.
and art, visual art.
Well, I love the whole relationship of art. I don't like just to say it's specifically, visual. I also like the written tradition. I also like the kind of magical notion and the religious aspect. I mean, Ireland has a, historically very religious sense of itself.
So all of
And,
that fits into this. I mean, I
absolutely,
see
yeah.
you have model written and
Yeah.
she and
Yeah.
just other words that.
Well, I love the poetry of vision as well. The pure
But you don't write
sensuality.
you don't write
no,
a
no,
poem.
No.
You
no,
don't do
no,
that when you do.
No, it's a mixture of the visual beauty of what I see. I live by visual language. I love the whole. I collect names visually. I don't even refer to people as names. I see their names in my head. I see everything visually.
So do you also use a symbol when you're seeing those people?
Absolutely,
I mean,
yeah,
like, do
yeah.
you see a bird or?
I do, yeah,
do you?
yeah. It's usually, representing the beauty of the encounter or whatever. It's part of this kind of Irish mystical thing of encounter is far more important than knowledge in a way.
So those symbols continue to work over and over.
Yeah,
in your
absolutely.
things. This is painted on as well,
That's
and it
right.
has different kinds of media on it.
Yeah,
Just
all
tell
kinds.
me what.
Well,
Pastel?
anything, whatever is useful, actually.
What's
yeah.
in your palette in your studio?
Everything, from gold paint to kind of glitter to makeup to very expensive paint
Really?
to tin foil to anything.
Paper?
Absolutely. Yeah. I
Canvas?
love clothes shops. I love button shops. I love all this stuff that is sensual and gives. One of the things I remember was when I was asked about why I have these little buttons and shiny things all over my canvas, and it goes right back to when my sisters were going to dances and they used to wear these very starched dresses with all this kind of shiny glitter and all that kind of thing. And I'll never forget seeing them in the hallway and the absolute stunning beauty
you
of
loved
them.
it.
Absolutely. So that's the kind of direct language that kind of has a very direct reference all the time. Only people forget where things come from and how they
So
were.
that's in your background.
And it gets very exclusive and people think, well, why are you this very exclusive media, why are you using it in high art and all this kind of thing? And it's part of the natural language of people's experience. So I love it, absolutely.
Do you find anything in junk shops or?
Absolutely,
Oh,
yeah.
you do? Do you
Yeah.
comb the?
Endlessly, yes.
And you come to Los Angeles a lot, or you come to the United States a lot.
Yeah, sure.
Do you collect any material like that to take back with you?
Well, I'm a great film buff, so I kind of look for film a lot, and I love the visual language of film. Of course, this is the home of film. To me, this is paradise, actually. Jack Rutberg took me up the Hollywood Hills the other day. We went past James Dean's, the famous, what do you call it? I forget what you call it, but it reminded me of Sal Mineo dying.
Oh, yeah,
kind of,
exactly,
it's-
yes.
So to me, this was walking into kind of a real history and a lovely, lovely experience. I mean, it's a wonderful place.
So have you ever thought of making a film and using your work in it?
No, I like video. I like playing around with video, okay. But to me, video is much too passing. I don't know. I love being able to hold things forever in a kind of silence, so people can look at paintings longer than video allows. That
Well, you've
kind of,
gone into work that is shown longer and influenced by
yeah.
the French. I wanted to show
Yeah,
this
sure.
Odalisque series
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you worked on.
That's right. Yeah.
And then you can tell us about that. Does it also have the symbols?
It does, of course, yeah. But I love the whole of art. I love the history of art, and I'm kind of steeped in traditional history of art as well as contemporary kind of analysis of art. But this is on one of the great classical romantic painters, and he did a series called Odalisque, and they're absolutely stunningly beautiful. But in a sense, they're also very removed in that academic way. And they speak of grammar about sensuality rather than poetry.
So
This lovely poetry and sensual poetry of Irish voice and things like that. And I love that. And I always look for ways to try and incorporate it into painting.
that influence on Odalisque is
there's that kind of academic interest. Yes.
Ingres.
That's it. No,
Did I say it right? Ingres.
you say it right.
But do you include yourself in these?
Well, it's always related to very personal experience. There has to be some kind of personal touch to it. And one of them, unfortunately, had to do with my sister, who was told a couple of years ago she had cancer. And I was working on this Odalisque series at the time. And I remember one instance where she turned to her husband and she very quietly said, is this destroying my figure? And it was an amazing thing to be, aware of that kind of sensual sense of herself being lost because she was taking all these drugs. And I was absolutely taken by the fact that she could think of this in the face of death almost.
Well, that's how this angel feels to me.
The angel comes in to mind her, you see, to protect her, all that kind of thing. But it's also the sensual part of herself that she was so conscious of and losing it,
Because that looks like either protection
it is,
or something
and
in
carrying
there.
her as well.
Sure.
Right
in the middle.
Yeah, sure.
And just so easy, just a couple of lines like that.
Oh, well, this is the academic training for years and years and years and years and years.
So it takes 30 years to make two lines and make a
To make bad drawing, it takes 30 years, yeah, absolutely.
There was one other piece that I thought was absolutely magnificent.
Oh, that's myself as Odalisque, looking at Odalisque.
Oh, this is part of the Odalisque series as well. So which one is you? Down here?
I'm down here on
I
the left,
see you
yes,
there. Oop, there. And sitting right above you?
That's the Odalisque, the original. It's an interpretation of it. I love kind of playing off myself. I like humor in art.
Does it care?
Yeah.
Does it matter the color?
No.
Color
I like
doesn't.
this free interpretation, the way the things happen, and I like, as I say, humor.
I want to, before we leave, I wanted to touch on, in 1987, you were elected to the Astana,
that's it, yeah.
Oh, say it for us.
Yeah, Astana.
And it's calling you a national treasure.
More or less, yeah.
But that was years and years ago. You became a national treasure when you were very young.
I'm an old national treasure.
now you're a young national treasure.
Right,
but how does that happen?
It's a system in Ireland. We have a parliament of artists, and they elect what you call these Astana.
So you're
rather elite members of the arts community.
You're chosen by your peers.
Yeah, and they're given an honorary position, and it's a huge honour, of course, to be chosen by your peers anywhere.
I know.
So it's quite an honour, and I'm quite flattered by it in many ways.
So are you a lord or anything like that?
Not quite, no. We leave that to our British cousins.
It doesn't have any time.
No, that belongs to them. Yeah.
And then one other thing that I wanted to show, because we've been showing smaller pieces, I wanted to show, and I had to show this it's a huge
it's the present
diptych.
exhibition, down in Jack's.
And this is at the Jack Retberg Gallery, and it's a diptych, oil painting.
Yeah.
But it also has a lot of collage features on it, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And does this tell a story?
They all have a story. The story's not as important sometimes as the painting, but this is essentially about faith and belief.
This seemed darker to me.
It is, yeah. And
obviously.
it has to do with the European war as well.
Oh, so it had an undertone of...
The war in Kosovo was on at the time. And so you get these little airplanes dropping little bombs, some of them dropping stars. Stars are kind of holy symbols or whatever. So it's part to do with religion and belief and faith in humanity, while it's destroying itself.
Do you work every day?
I do, God help us. Not very well.
And tell us a little bit, we have to go right now,
That's
but
okay,
but let's talk about that horrible food in Ireland.
Yeah.
Is it bad?
No, I don't want to talk about it. No, it's best left alone.
Okay. We'll leave it at that. Yeah. And we'll thank you. Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks very much, Joe.
Thanks for coming. And don't go away. We'll be right back with Jaime Emmerich. Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back. I'm with actor Jaime Aymerich, who was born and raised in Mexico City. At 15, he was performing in several theatrical productions at the Dramatic Arts Center. He was in a comedy show called Nits in Mexico City. And I don't know when he came to California, when he came to the U.S., but we're going to find out what happened. What brought you here?
Well, California, it's amazing. Basically, I was in Mexico shooting a soap opera named Acapulco Bay.
Oh, I did see that.
Which aired in Fox in different countries around the world.
This was very interesting because it was a co-production with Televisa.
Yeah, Televisa and Fox Television.
So you were doing it in Mexico.
Yes, we shoot it down in Acapulco.
And how old were you then?
Oh, this was like 5 years ago. And
However old you were.
it was like 5 years ago, and basically that was what made me think, you know, I want to be in Los Angeles because that's the place that it airs too. And here's the mecca of the cinema.
And that's what happened?
Yeah.
Did you speak English in Mexico?
Well, the soap opera is in English with American actors.
Oh.
And basically I used to go to school and to watch television from the United States since I was a little kid, and I think that was the way that I learned faster English, yeah.
But you were living right in Mexico City. You did all your schooling. You did commercials. Did you do them in Mexico too?
I did some commercials in Mexico, a lot of educational TV. I did a lot of theater plays. I was having a comedy showcase.
I was going to ask you about that. Did that have to do with knits at all?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Basically, it was like a stand-up comedy thing, and we used to go like every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, and it was amazing because it was comedy.
Was it a club where kids would come, or everyone?
Yeah, definitely, it was like a family thing.
Uh-huh.
It was amazing, and then it's.
Did you write your own material?
Yeah, for that specific show, yeah.
So, when you were going to the Dramatic Arts Center, you were taking acting, I guess. So you've been taking acting for a long time, acting lessons?
Yes, when I was in the academy in Mexico, Dramatic Arts, it was like 3 years.
So you always wanted to be an actor?
It was very funny.
You didn't?
It was very funny how it happened because basically one day it happened to be that I was on school, but there was like me and two friends, right? And these two friends and myself, we were, you know, when they expelled, like for one day, we did something bad, you know, whatever. So, and we were there at the next morning, and I didn't want to tell my mom, and I was there like around 7:30 in the morning with my two friends, and then I told him, hey, what do you want to do in your life? And then one of the guys tells me, well, you know, I want to be an engineer, and I was like, oh, great. And then I asked the other one, hey, what do you want to do in your life? And he said, well, you know, I want to, I don't know yet. I'm too young. I don't know. And then they asked me, what do you want to do? And I told them, you know, I want to be an actor. That's what I want to do.
Or you
and then
did?
I told them, okay, let's go to a TV station in Mexico. And we went to Televisa. And then we were hired that day to be some extra work, to do some extra work.
You guys are out of school,
but that
was
the first day, right? And it's funny because at that time I remember that I was watching one movie that I decided completely that I wanted to become an actor. It was because I was seeing this movie Top Gun with Tom Cruise.
Yes.
And when I saw that movie, I said, I either become a pilot or become an actor, because Tom Cruise is great in that film. And then I became an actor, and then I studied theater academy at the Academy of Mexico, Dramatic Arts, and basically that's how it happened.
Have you taken any acting lessons in the U.S.?
Yes, definitely. There is a teacher, Kathy Smith, that she teach me how to perform in camera, and some.
Have you done stage in Los Angeles?
Yes, I present a theater showcase in Celebrity Center International, and what else I have done towards the stage. I'm about to have a showcase for some networks with the group Nosotros very soon. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Now, another interesting thing happened to you. You had a show that the Japanese produced.
Oh yeah, that was in Mexico.
You were still in Mexico.
I was in Mexico, and there was this show. It was kind of like a short film. We shot it in a television format, and this was like with Japanese producers.
How did they find you?
In Mexico, I was doing educational TV.
So they found you there?
And they found me there. Like,
and were you the star of it as well?
It was. It was yes. I was the lead of the. It was just me and a girl, and it was a story about these two kids who live in the streets of Mexico at a certain point, and there's like a drama involved in that relationship, and that's what they show in Japan.
Is that right?
It was very, very.
In
It
Spanish?
was amazing to work with Japanese people. It's incredible.
Was
to
it
work
in
with.
Spanish?
It was in Spanish, but they translated to Japanese.
I see,
Yeah.
I see. Well, we were talking about your stand-up when you were doing your comedy routine and that you were writing your own things. Have you ever written any screenplays or anything that you would produce yourself?
Well, I actually wrote something for the Academy of Arts in Mexico. It was like a little theater play, and I directed myself, and it was very nice. I also direct a TV show, like in Mexico.
Oh,
It
so
was
directing
something against
more.
drugs, yeah.
Would you like to do that?
Well, I'm an actor, and I found it, you know, it's like that's what I like the most. I also have some ideas of writing a script of a movie that I want to create.
But one of the things is you say you're an actor and you like to direct, but are there certain directors that you'd love to work with?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
The work?
I mean, I definitely want to be working with the best directors here in Hollywood. There's so many. There's so many great directors. I go to the movies right now and I see amazing work. There is a lot. There is a lot that I want to work with.
Did you, you've made a movie now that is called Un Secreto de Esperanza. I'm
Exactly.
looking at the poster.
In English, it means a secret of hope, right?
In English, yes.
It
A
means
Secret
a
of
Secret
Hope,
of
but
Hope.
her name is Esperanza.
Exactly. That's the name of the role that is being played by Katy Jurado.
So tell us about this.
Well, basically,
Because it's a great movie.
I mean, you see it.
I saw the movie. It's really
And
good.
thank you. I'm very, very happy for that film because basically Katy Jurado, I mean, she died around a month ago, but she's an amazing, amazing being.
She was in her 80s.
She said that she was in her 80s. I think so.
Well, she said she was in her 70s, but
well-
she was
well,
probably
she-
in her 80s.
Yeah, she said that she was in their 70s or something.
Yeah.
and- but I don't know.
Anyway,
But
she was old
basically-
enough that she looked like this fabulous dueña. Is that right?
Like dueña or doña?
Doña, both, huh?
Exactly. Doña means like strong lady.
And the other one?
And that's what it means. And basically, she used to be in movies with Grace Kelly in High Noon, or she was nominated twice for an Academy Award.
She got a Golden Globe?
She got a Golden Globe. She got a Golden Boot too.
Oh, she did. Where's the
Because she
Golden
did-
Boot?
She did 15 westerns.
Oh,
So that's the award
right.
for making westerns.
That's where she started her career.
Well, she did movies with Marlon Brando, with Elvis Presley, Grace Kelly. I mean, she was an
And
amazing actress.
Jaime Emmerich. She
Well-
did movies with all those people and you.
Well, actually, I had the honor to be in her last film, and it was an amazing experience to work with such an actress because she was very strong. Every place, like this is what I remember when we're shooting down in Mexico in the movie. We went to the place, one of the locations, which it happened to be a school, and I was in the makeup department, and then I just listened like an ovation. And I knew that she arrived to the set.
Is that right?
And that happened all the time.
When you say she's strong, in what way was she strong on the set?
Oh.
Did she boss you around?
What's Bosch?
Tell you what to do?
Oh, well.
Did she tell the director what to do?
Well, she was very strong in any way. In any way. She was like a bull over there, you know. She was like, she was
knew
a very,
what
very,
I-
very big being.
Yeah.
Very strong.
Big
A
presence.
strong artist, strong being, a strong person in any aspect. You can see the film and you can tell.
But did she tell the cameras where to go?
No. That
Not
was
like
the,
that. She let it.
Yeah, that was, she's a very professional actress. And the director that he's a great director. Leopoldo Laborde is amazing. He's from Mexico and he's young. And he like, for me, working with him, we get along very well. I understood him completely, and I understood how he wanted to take me this role that I play in the film.
So the movie was shot in Mexico.
The movie was shot in Mexico. In the photography of the film,
It's beautiful because, you know, it has this very warm, there's this warm kind of yellow glow, bronze glow. But then when you're on, you have this cold blue kind of look. So it's just like really interesting the way he's used color.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that
and
right?
The color, the thing is, because it happens in two different times, the film.
That's why.
We have it like in the present time, and that's where I appear with my role. And then
Right.
you have like the 1984, right? And that's a difference in the colors. We use the format that is being used in Matrix.
Right.
That's
The
why you see like the color is different.
Yeah, and you can see that, and it's brilliant. The other person, you play a grown-up Imanol.
Yeah.
Imanol?
Imanol he plays the same role that I do, but when the character is young.
And he's a famous singer in Mexico, or pop star?
He's very, very popular artist in Mexico
Is
and
he?
in other places as well. He's an amazing actor.
Tell us the funny story about how you went on the set to watch him work.
Oh, it was like from the beginning. See, as an actor, you have to be very careful how to build your character if you're doing the same character with another actor, especially this one that was played by a young kid, Imanol, and then myself, and I needed to understand how Imanol was developing the character. So it was kind of like a mutual creation, you know?
But he didn't know you were there.
No, basically I went to the rehearsals, but he didn't knew that I was going to be playing his role.
I see.
So I appeared at all the rehearsals as the assistant director, right? And I was taking notes and everything, and I was like looking how he moved, and he was developing that character. And that's why, well, you saw the character in the film.
And then when they morph into you, or when you take over his role as a grown person, you have the same kind of movements?
Yeah, definitely. It's basically the same role.
Where do we see you next?
Well, the movie hasn't been released yet. So
yeah, but
the
what are
movie
you working on?
right now? Well, I have some projects cooking right now.
Yeah.
There's one that is a big project, but I'm not supposed to tell.
Oh, of course not.
Yes.
But we want to see you in something really big, okay?
It's very big, but
Okay, and will you
I'm
call
not.
us?
Definitely,
You'll let us know?
100%.
I want to show one thing, because I think your headshot
Oh.
is so fabulous. And we should
Thank
talk about the artist who did this fabulous shot.
Oh, the photographer, you mean? The photographer, the artist, he's a great artist. He's Matthew Horton.
Matthew Horton,
Yeah.
who's a fabulous photographer.
Definitely.
I have to say goodbye.
Okay.
I have
well,
to say
goodbye.
goodbye to you, too.
Definitely.
Keep riding at 777 South Figueroa, 44th floor, Los Angeles 917. And we'll see you next time on the Joan Quinn Profiles.